Hey everyone, so I was online earlier this afternoon checking up on some like weather reports and all that stuff, and I came across a very interesting article I found on AccuWeather.com, and it's about this Greenland ice sheet that has experienced record melting. And this thing like surprised me, like OMG. So on July 8th, I'm reading from like an actual like thing I printed off, but it says on like July 8th, Air Force and NASA satellites showed melting up to 40% of the ice sheet's surface. And then just 4 days later, that number rocketed to an astounding 97%. So 40% to 97% is a 57% difference in 4 days of just melted ice. That's a lot. And it said it was a larger area than any melting event since satellite records began 30 years ago. So that's like significant. That's like wow. And when I pulled up this article, I was just astounded at like the pictures as well because it just shows you what it looked like before the melting, what looked like after the melting. Pretty much like the 40% of it melted, then the 97% of it melted. And it's like pretty amazing and stuff. But the main reason that the ice sheet has melted so significantly over just a 4-day period was because a area of high pressure, which dominates, well, not dominates, but it brings in sunny conditions and it brings in warmer conditions as well. Apparently it just sat over the area for the 4 days and they experienced extremely warm conditions and all this ice melted. So I don't know. If you believe in global warming, I don't know if that contributes to like global warming or like climate change or whatever. But I just found like I just found it very interesting to read about and all that stuff. And you can check more about it on AccuWeather.com. It's at their homepage and all that stuff. And it's just called Greenland Ice Sheet Experiences Record Melt and stuff. But it's pretty like fascinating. But it also goes into about how it influences like climate change. And it says here, someone quoted, "I don't think there's any way that we can claim now that the warming at Summit, which is where they recorded the melting, is connected to a long-term trend, not because we don't think so, just because we don't know it." So, according to the new record we have, the melt at Summit fits within what has been observed to happen in the past. So apparently this has happened before. It's just like a recurring like cycle and stuff, which also brings up the whole entire like climate change and whatever. There's like different periods and like different like shifts in climate change that happen over so many years and stuff. So apparently Greenland has experienced like rapid melting of ice sheets before in the past. So when you have to deal with like just global warming standards, for instance, it's not like, okay, it's like warming has like never happened before. Apparently that the ice sheets have been like this before, and all of a sudden they've just warmed up and stuff because of just dominating ridges of high pressure and bringing in surges of warm air from the south and stuff. And not to mention, this year alone has been extremely hot. Like I mentioned in one of my other videos, it's been the warmest 12-month period ever recorded. Since records began back in the late 1800s, like 1896, I believe. That's when records began. So it's been an incredibly warm, like, past 12 months, and July is no exception. There are quite a few cities in the U.S. that could experience their all-time record, warmest record for July ever. One of those cities includes D.C., where I am, and then another includes, I think, St. Louis and Chicago. So there's a lot of places that are experiencing extremely warm conditions, and in the central U.S., there's a big hot area of high pressure just dominating the area, and it's just sticking there, and it's creating 100-degree plus weather, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, but when I read this article, I was just astounded about how fast the warming is. I mean, 40 to 97% people. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot in 4 days. 4 days. So you break it down. I need a calculator. So let's see. What? 57 divided by 4? That's 14.25% wrapping a day. Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. So, I don't know. Are we warming up? It looks like it and stuff, but again, climate experts say that this could just be like a phase or whatever, because it says that it's been observed to happen in the past at Summit where the recordings were taken at Greenland and stuff. So I just wanted to share that with all you and stuff. But there's a lot of other articles on AccuReweather.com, and I like AccuReweather.com mainly because it has a lot of articles, kind of like the Weather.com and stuff. But if you go on AccuWeather, there's like the home page, and then you can go up to like stories and top stories and whatever and get your forecast. If you just go over under like top stories or whatever, there's a whole list of stories that you can just download and look at and print off if you want, like I did right here and stuff. And it's very interesting to read a couple of these articles. There's one on, I forgot what it was called. But there's one about like the Bering Sea, and how like ice caps around there have like melted and stuff. They do stuff about like pollination during the spring. They also do things that have to like how weather affects like the Olympics. There was an article about that a couple days ago. So AccuWeather is very nice when it comes to like articles that you could read about, and all these people that just go in and just observe things, and they blog about them, then they write stories about them and put them up on AccuWeather and stuff. I don't usually go on AccuWeather to look at forecasts, sort of say. That's more for Weather.com and the National Weather Service. But for stories like this one that I found very interesting, I usually go to AccuWeather.com. So yeah. So what do you think? Do you think that Greenland's just warming up because there's an area of high pressure, or do you think it's an actual climate shift? Who knows? If you have any like comments on it, you can comment down in the box. If not, then you don't have to. So yeah, until next time, remember to just stay cool outside and keep your eye to the sky. Alright, bye.